the agenda setter.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a question that's at the very core of India's future. Can we really have it all? Can we chase rapid economic growth without giving up our fundamental rights or damaging our environment? We're going to break down all the key issues, everything from big strategic reforms to AI-powered policing, and show you exactly how to connect these dots for a knockout mains answer.
So, this is the big balancing act we're exploring today. We'll be looking at India's big push for strategic growth. Then we'll dive into the tricky challenges of governance in the digital age. And finally, we'll cover the absolute necessity of securing a sustainable future. Let's see how these priorities sometimes clash and sometimes work together. Okay, first up, let's get into India's economic game plan. This is prime material for your GS Paper 3. The big goal here is to build a nation that's both competitive on the world stage and self-reliant. And believe me, this strategy affects just about everything, from how we do business here at home to our key relationships out in the Indo-Pacific.
At the heart of all these reforms is a really interesting new philosophy, the Jan Vishwas Siddhant, which basically means the principle of trust. The whole idea is to finally move away from that old Inspector Raj mindset. That tangled web of excessive rules and bureaucracy, and instead build an environment that actually encourages business by, for example, decriminalizing minor slip-ups.
Now, this is a huge deal. Our logistics costs are sitting at 13 to 14% of our GDP. That is way higher than the global average. And what that means is it makes our own products more expensive, which really hurts our Make in India goals and our ability to export. So you can see why tackling this is a massive priority.
And this is the government's answer to that problem, the PM Gati Shakti Initiative. Think of it as a giant national master plan. It's designed to finally break down those walls between different ministries, get everyone on the same page, and streamline all our infrastructure projects to slash those logistics costs we just talked about.
Now, this is a perfect example of that new trust-based approach in action. The proposed SHANTI bill could be a total game changer. It's looking to bring private money and private companies into the nuclear energy sector, a field that for decades has been a complete government monopoly.
So you have to ask, why make such a big shift now? Well, the government's reasoning is crystal clear. It's all about getting that clean, super reliable energy we need to hit our 2070 net zero target. Plus, it's a way to inject some much-needed private cash and cutting-edge technology into the sector.
And look, this whole push for self-reliance isn't just about what we do at home. It also means we've got to build stronger friendships abroad. Take our growing relationship with Malaysia, for instance. It's absolutely key for our Act East policy, helping us secure critical supply chains for things like semiconductors, and, just generally strengthening our role in the Indo-Pacific. All right, let's switch gears and move to our next section, which is so important for GS Paper 2. We're going to see how this whole balancing act plays out in the modern world, looking specifically at that clash between the power of new technology and our own fundamental rights.
This slide right here really gets to the heart of it all. On one side, you have the government using powerful tech to make us more secure and to make things run more efficiently. But on the other side, we have our constitutional rights to privacy and liberty. The million-dollar question is, where do we draw the line?
And right at the center of this whole debate are these incredibly powerful tools, like Mahacrime OS. What is it? Well, it's an AI-driven platform that uses big data and facial recognition for something called predictive policing. It's basically trying to use data to figure out where crime might happen before it actually does. But, and this is a huge but, all that efficiency comes with some pretty serious risks. You've got major questions about government surveillance going too far, about potential biases being literally coded into the software, and whether our data protection laws are even ready for this new reality. This is exactly where the judiciary steps in. The Supreme Court acts as a crucial check, a safeguard, making sure that what the government does is in line with what we call constitutional morality. These are the core values of our Constitution, the spirit of the law, even if it's not written down word for word. And this judicial check isn't just an idea, it's grounded in fundamental principles, specifically Article 20, Clause 3. This is our fundamental right against self-incrimination. You can't be forced to be a witness against yourself. Period. And the landmark Selvi versus State of Karnataka ruling from back in 2010 really drove this point home. The Supreme Court was incredibly clear. Forcing someone to undergo something like narco-analysis is, and I quote, an unjustified intrusion into their mental privacy. So for your ethics paper, GSIV, this is an absolute goldmine. It's a perfect case study for that classic ethical dilemma, ends versus means. Is it okay to use any method to achieve a goal like national security, even if those methods violate someone's dignity and rights? That's the question.
All right, let's pivot to the third piece of our balancing act, a super important theme for GS Paper I, securing India's environmental future. And what you'll see here is how small, local actions are actually deeply connected to our huge global promises.
The key thing to understand here is that it's all connected. Think of it like a ripple effect. Protecting a single local wetland, that's local action. That contributes to our national blue economy strategy, which is all about using our ocean resources sustainably. And that, in turn, helps us move closer to our massive international goal of being net zero by 2070.
Take this, for example. The rare Pallas's gull was recently spotted at a newly declared Ramsar site. Now, that's not just a cool fact for birdwatchers. It's a powerful reminder of just how vital these wetlands are for protecting biodiversity, for controlling floods, and for helping us adapt to a changing climate. And here's a pro tip for your GS Paper I answer. You can directly link these local conservation wins to India's huge international commitments under the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically SDG 13, which is all about climate action, and SDG 15, which is life on land. Okay, so let's tie all of these different threads together now. This is where we connect the dots across all the different GS papers to build that complete, well-rounded answer that we promised you right at the start. So what is the big picture here? Well, we're seeing this massive push to bring private companies into really sensitive strategic sectors. As you can see from the table, the why is pretty clear. We need investment, and we need new technology. But then you look at the challenges column, and that's where things get really tricky. You've got national security concerns, the need for strong regulators, and just getting the states in the center to work together. And it all comes down to a question like this. So how would you tackle it? It's simple. Frame your entire argument around that balancing act. Start with the Shanti Bill as a great example of pushing for economic growth. Then counter that with the very real security concerns it raises. From there, you pivot to the AI policing debate, using the Mahacrime OS example and the Supreme Court's powerful ruling to analyze the challenge it poses to our constitutional governance. And that, right there, is how you interlink today's news into one powerful, multidimensional answer.